Yo, what's going on, y'all? We are back with another video. Oh yes, it's that time. So this one here is going to be from Sketch Chanance or something like that. I don't know how you pronounce it. Don't come for me in the comments. But yeah, this one is going to be about the salary trap and why the system wants to keep niggas broke. Keep us out here needing money and stuff like that. So this will be a good one, y'all. So make sure you leave a comment, sub to this channel, and we're gonna get straight to this video, y'all. Let's get it.
You wake up at 6:47 a.m., 7 minutes before your alarm. Your body knows. It's been doing this for 4,847 days, almost 13 years at the same company. You tell yourself it's security, a good salary, benefits, stability. But as you stare at the ceiling, there's this feeling you can't quite shake. You're making more money than your parents ever dreamed of, and somehow you're more broke than ever. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why that's not a coincidence. It's by design. This is the salary trap. Let me introduce you to Sarah. She's 34, makes $85,000 a year. On paper, she's in the top 20% of earners in her country. She should feel rich. She doesn't. Sarah gets paid every 2 weeks. That's $3,216 before taxes.
I was gonna say.
After taxes, it's $2,458. Now here's where the trap gets interesting. The system doesn't present her with a choice. It doesn't say, here's your money, decide what to do with it. Instead, it does something far more clever. It fragments her money across invisible channels before she ever sees it. Rent takes $1,200. That's nearly half of her after-tax income. Groceries and dining out, $400. Car payment, insurance, and gas, $550.
Now you'll have some people out there that'll say things like, "Oh, use public transportation." Yeah, if you have public transportation where you live, a lot of people don't have that. They live in rural suburban areas where they don't have a car, so they either gotta do Lyft or take Uber. That can get pretty expensive. So for some people, they don't have a choice but to get a car note because they don't live in the city. See, this is how you know all of this is just like oxymoronish, if that's even a word, because they'll say, oh, you need to live in a metropolitan city, or you can't live in the city if you can't afford it. Well, that's where the jobs are, right? You need to live where the tech companies are going so that you can have the potentials of getting a job. Well, now where are you going to live? They make it virtually unaffordable for you to live in the city you work in. You got to live on the outskirts where there's no public transportation. So yeah, make it make sense, please.
Phone, internet, subscriptions, $120.
Man, listen, that subscription thing, I literally just canceled my HBO Max and my Disney Plus and just got the premium YouTube because this is where I primarily spend most of my time, on YouTube. So I did away with all of that. And if you know a little something about piracy, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get, but if you know, people going to find a way.
Utilities, $140. By the time Sarah actually sees her paycheck's implications, she's already spent $2,410 of her $2,458.
That's crazy. Like, all of her money just gone. And that's a lot of us out here. Money just, you don't know where it went.
She has $48 left for an entire 2 weeks. But here's the psychological genius of it. Sarah doesn't experience it as deprivation. She has a car, she has a place to live, she's successful. This system gives you just enough comfort to stop you from asking why you're not building wealth. This is the salary trap's first weapon, the illusion of prosperity through fragmentation. When money comes in a lump sum and leaves in small pieces, your brain never fully grasps that you're just treading water. You have a lifestyle, not wealth. Now, let's talk about what actually keeps you stuck.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
And this is where it gets darker. The entire system is designed to keep you dependent on that paycheck. Think about it. You're told to get a good education, so you do. Maybe you go into debt for it. Now you're hunting for a job to pay back that investment. You find one, Great salary, maybe $60,000.
That
But
ain't
the
shit.
moment you accept that job, something happens. Your lifestyle automatically inflates to match your income. Economists call this lifestyle inflation, but I call it the system's second trap. You get the job at $60,000 and suddenly you can afford a nicer apartment. So you get one. Your rent goes from $800 to $1,200. You can afford a nicer car. You get one. Your payment goes from $200 to $400. Now are you making $90,000? So you move to an even nicer place, $1,600 in rent, a better car, a $500 payment, maybe a vacation you wouldn't have taken before. Each increase in salary feels like freedom.
Well, this is all personal choice. If you're smart, like they always say, live within your means or live below your means, which I don't really get the analogy in that. I mean, I do get it, but it's just people have this FOMO mentality, the fear of missing out. They want to live their life to the fullest because they could be here today, gone tomorrow. So they want to live like it's their last. So they're going to want to get the nicest car, live in the nicest places, because that's what they see on social media. That's what they see on TV. And I don't necessarily blame them. It's just the majority of our expenses or our life is tied to a corporation, to something that we don't have any control over. You know what I'm saying?
But each one actually tightens the noose. Here's why. You're no longer free to leave that job because you need that salary to maintain your lifestyle.
Yep.
You've built a financial life that requires constant paychecks. This is what I call golden handcuffs.
Damn, that's really deep what he just said, because that's what I was thinking the other day, right? I was like, man, when you go out here and you buy all of these things, go on these trips and stuff like that, even so much as your apartment, everything is riding on this job and you keeping this job. Like if you've been at a job that you can't stand, right? And you suddenly get fired, there's like this weight that's lifted off you. It's like a bittersweet moment because, yeah, it's like, okay, I don't have to go here anymore. But after you come off of that high, the psychological worry kicks in because now you're thinking about these bills got to get paid, rent, car note, I got to have food. Don't let you have any kids. Oh man. So it's that part. So you always be saying to yourself, I got to keep my job, or I got to do this, or I got to do that. They got you in handcuffs.
The cruelest part? You did this to yourself. The system didn't force you, it just presented the option, and human psychology did the rest. We see progress as moving up, not as actually getting richer. So we move up into a lifestyle that consumes every penny we earn. The CEO making $500,000 a year can be just as trapped as someone making $50,000 if their lifestyle requires $450,000 ever. The salary doesn't determine your freedom. The gap between your income and your expenses does.
If you making $500,000 a year, what the hell are you doing with your money? Like, what else do you need? If you're making $500,000, first of all, where you live should be paid for. Well, let me not say that, because if you live in an apartment, which I'm for apartment living, I like the idea. Like I said in my last video, I like the high-rise penthouse lifestyle. But if you're making $500,000 a year, you can afford that. So your car should be paid for. Your phone bill shouldn't be that much money. And I mean, where you going? Like, I don't, if you're making $500,000 and you got money problems, something is wrong with your ass.
And the system is designed to keep that gap as small as possible. Let me tell you about my friend David. He worked in tech, made 6 figures, but he was unhappy. Every time he thought about quitting, his stomach would drop. Why? Because he'd already committed to a $400,000 house,
You
2 car
stupid.
payments, kids in private school.
Stupid.
One day, his company offered him a promotion, a $20,000 raise. He felt relieved, grateful. He felt like he'd won. 2 weeks later, his landlord raised the rent. His mortgage adjusted. His oldest needed braces. He got a new car because the old one needed too many repairs. And just like that, his financial stress didn't decrease. It stayed exactly the same. This is the system's most insidious trick. You're not building wealth with your salary increases. You're just increasing your obligations faster than your income grows.
So here's my question for all of this. All right, now that we know the obvious, that, a job is not the safest place for you to be, what is the solution to all of this? And I'm sure this video is going to get to that, but most of the businesses and corporations that exist where you have these people who are successful and rich are making this money off of the backs of their workers and the consumers. So what is the solution for this? If having a job is insidious as it is, and it's not a place to build wealth.
It's why the person making 30,000 a year and the person making 300,000 a year often report similar levels of financial stress. The system is engineered so that your required expenses always catch up. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck, even a substantial one, you're predictable, controllable. You need that job. You can't take risks, can't start a business, can't invest in your own ideas because all your money is already promised to someone else.
Well, here's the illusion with that. If you have a job is a business that somebody started because they too might have been in the same loophole. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a prime example. Arthur Blank, for those that don't know, Arthur Blank is the founder of Home Depot. He owns the Atlanta Falcons, and I want to say he has, I don't know if he has anything to do with Atlanta United, but he used to work in a warehouse store. And this is from what I was told when I used to work at Home Depot. And he, for whatever reason, I think he got fired. And he turned around and he started Home Depot. So I guess out of necessity, he said, I'm gonna start my own business. And he hired workers to do his business or to help with his business. So when you say to people, you can't start your own business and stuff like that, it's like, what are we really saying? Because you're going to ultimately probably need people unless you're just going to fully automate your business and run it on AI, which is, not impossible, especially nowadays. But if we're talking a few years back, you were going to need employees. So I think the problem really is that these corporations are super money hungry and they don't think about the worker in mind, nor do they think about the consumer. People at one time used to feel like a job had purpose. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I can afford my expenses and I would still be good. But you don't even get that anymore from a job. You just go to just go. And it feels like emptiness. That's what a lot of people feel, especially my generation. And I would even say some people older than me and the younger generation for sure.
Your landlord, your bank, the car company, they all benefit from your trapped state. You're a guaranteed revenue stream, but you don't actually benefit. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you quit your job tomorrow. You just left. How many months could you survive? Be honest. If your answer is less than 3 months, you're trapped, and you're not alone. Over 60% of professionals couldn't sustain their lifestyle for more than 1 month without a paycheck. Think about that. You are 1 month away from a financial crisis at all times. That's not security. That's a very comfortable prison.
So what we're basically saying here, ladies and gentlemen, is that we need to do away with the whole entire system. Is basically what we're saying. It doesn't work. It never worked. It wasn't meant to work this long. This fiat money job market system was not designed to appease people or accommodate people in this manner, because we're seeing the cracks in the foundation. Every single year you have more and more students that are graduating from high school that are going into college, and you have the kids or the students that are coming out of college that are going into the workforce looking for work. And in an economy where everything is automated, everything is going AI, what jobs can they possibly work? See, this is the scheme. They always move the goalposts. Just a few years back, they were saying, oh, you need to go get a job in computer science. You need to learn how to code. That's where the money was. Now, look, I can literally go on my phone and go on ChatGPT, type in a prompt or whatever, and it'll give me what I want. I don't have to go to a graphic designer or anything like that to get it made. It does all the coding on the back end for me. So this whole smoke and mirrors, That's all it is.
The salary trap convinces you this is normal. Work, earn, spend. Work harder, earn more, spend more. But this isn't inevitable. It's not a law of physics, it's a choice that's been made for you. The moment you realize your salary isn't keeping you rich, it's keeping you busy enough to not become rich, everything changes. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start asking different questions. Not how do I make more.
Think about it like this. We are paying for things that can't leave Earth. Yo, we are literally paying for things that can't leave this planet. Once you're gone, whatever it is that you spent money on, it's going to stay here. The money's going to stay here. The sneakers, the cars, the house, everything is going to stay here. We're paying for stuff that can't leave this earth. I could see if it's something that's like, all right, in the next life, I'll still have access to this. No, you won't. That's how you know this whole thing is stupid as hell.
Money, but why does all my money leave? Not how do I get a promotion, but how do I build assets instead of obligations? This isn't about quitting your job tomorrow. The point is this: awareness changes behavior. Once you understand the trap is a system, not a law, you can start to dismantle it. First, stop confusing income with wealth. A $200,000 salary is income. $50,000 in savings and investments is wealth. One is temporary, the other is permanent. Second, attack the gap. Intentionally keep your expenses lower than your income. This feels backward, but it's the only mechanism that works. Third, redirect that gap into assets that work for you, not liabilities that work against you. And most importantly, build optionality. The moment you have 3 to 6 months of expenses and savings, something shifts psychologically. You're no longer trapped.
See, this is all good, what is being said here in this video about lowering your expenses and things like that. Oh yeah, sure, lower your expenses. But here's the thing. In the line of work that I do, they cannot afford for people to operate like this. They need people to be spending money, because in order for a company to keep the lights on and pay their employees compensation and bonuses and raise their pay rate, they need people to be spending money irresponsibly. They have to. If people were to take this approach, most Americans, if they were to all just say, you know what, we're not going to buy Jordans and Nikes. We're not going to buy Christian Dior and all these other things. We're just going to preserve our wallets. The companies would be in panic. This is why they introduced all this buy now, pay later stuff, because they understand most people don't have the liquid cash to buy a lot of this stuff that they want. So they said, oh, don't worry about it. You know, we'll come out with the new version of the layaway plan where you can make payments on it and still get it before it's paid for entirely. So that's what's going on.
You can negotiate better. You can take risks. You can leave situations that don't serve you. The goal isn't just to earn more. The goal is to become independent from the system's requirement that you need that paycheck. Because the moment you don't need it, you're free.
You're never free. Unless what you're saying is they're eventually going to do away with jobs and we're going to do this whole universal base income thing that's been floating around the past couple of months. I mean, that's the only way I see you being technically free from a paycheck, when these corporations no longer want to pay anybody any money and we just finally live as human beings and not have to tie our existence to status, what kind of car we drive, where we live. We can just live. And that's the problem. People aren't living anymore. People are just surviving, if you can even call it that. You know, people are just trying to get by.
The salary trap is real. It's sophisticated, but it is not inescapable. The people who break free aren't smarter or luckier than you. They just became aware. They saw the system for what it is.
What you're saying basically is people need to get rich. People need to no longer work for somebody. That's really kind of what I get from this. This is a good video though, but that's kind of what conclusion I've drawn from this. You have to be wealthy. You have to get rich in order to break free from a paycheck, because There is no other way unless you get rich and you don't have to work for somebody. You're going to forever need a paycheck in order to afford anything. Even if you was to take this approach and lower your expenses and not live in the nicest apartment, something moderate to decent, and you have a car that's paid for. Well, if you no longer have a paycheck coming in, sure, your car is paid for, so you don't got to worry about somebody coming to take it. But you still got to pay for registration. You still got to put gas in it. You still got to maintenance it. Your apartment still has to be paid for, even if it's not the most expensive apartment. So the paycheck is always going to be a need. The problem is nobody wants to pay anybody no damn money.
And they decided that comfort wasn't the same as freedom. You have that same choice. If you found this breakdown valuable and you want to learn the actual mechanics of building wealth instead of just earning income, subscribe to this channel. We break down the psychology of money, the systems that control your finances, and how to beat them. New videos every week. Each one gets you one step closer to actual financial.
Okay, yo, that was a pretty good video. It definitely opened my eyes to some things that I kind of already knew and felt, in my heart and in my mind. But it's just interesting to see it coming from, a different lens. But as far as how I feel on the job thing, listen, man, everybody can't be a boss. Everybody can't be rich. It's just not feasible. We're living in a country that has a $33 trillion debt. How does that make any sense? So we're a country that says we're rich, but we're operating on debt, and it's debt that continues to climb. So it's really, to me, just all a facade. We're just going with the narrative, just going with the flow of the game of Monopoly. So, nah. The only way you can break free from a paycheck is if you are already rich and you already have a boatload of assets where you don't have to clock into somebody's job. But that's not going to be everybody's situation. If we continue to go along with this fiat money system and the way things have been since this country's inception, it's never going to go away. Yeah, sure, we did live in this country once upon a time before there was a job and we had bartering, but there were far less people in this country back then. So it was something that was doable. But I don't know if a bartering system would work in this day and age. What needs to ultimately happen is people just need to be free to live their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take my people, for example, because, always my people first. They say we have a buying power that's in the trillions. Now, you would say, why on earth have we not gotten the hell out of America yet? That's a good damn question. Why are we still in America, even though we have buying power that's in the trillions? It's because we're stuck here. Most people, their income, our income, is tied to a paycheck. We just turn around and give that money right back, to the same corporations that really don't give a lick about our well-being. They just want your money because it's all a part of the game. It's just something to do. Human beings are bored. We don't have nothing else to do. Well, I wouldn't say we don't have nothing else to do, but we're just bored at this point. Somebody in the past said, you know what? It's too easy being a human. We need to make things harder. So let's go ahead and create all of this fictitious stuff to, make things hard for people. It's crazy. But that's my spill on it. I'm not going to drag y'all in, or not even drag y'all in, but I'm not going to just keep rambling on. Y'all get down in the comments, right? And y'all let me know what y'all think about that video. And yeah, tell me what you think is the best thing for us to do going forward as humans as it relates to money and stuff like that. So leave a comment, sub to the channel. It's your boy Robbie, and I'm out.